Good evening. Chris Joyce Drums, Facebook Live and direct from Sulking Shed Studios here up in Tier 3. You can't get any higher. Okay. Hope everybody's well. Good evening. Hi, Andrew. Nice you could join me. Who else have we got in the house? I'm trying to start a bit calmer than I have been. I'm censoring myself now. Getting myself together. Who else is in the house? Let's have a few hellos. Is there anybody else here? There might not be anybody else here anyway. Okay. Something a bit different tonight from the past few weeks. Actually, a television theme tune. Now, I'll play it shortly. We're just going to talk for a minute. Hi, Jodie. Hi, Samantha. Nice you can join me. Yeah, the first person, once I start playing it, that can tell me what the TV show is, then you'll be rewarded in heaven. So let me know. I'm doing these every week at the moment. I'm doing one on a Monday on YouTube, and the one on YouTube on a Monday is a bit more like an actual drum lesson. I did one this Monday just gone, and it was about your first drum lesson ever. And I'm going to do another one next Monday, which is going to be your first drum lesson ever, part 2, and just cover some of the ground that we did last Monday, but go into a little bit more detail. I can now obviously offer drum lessons online, so wherever you are, doesn't matter. I can give you a drum lesson anywhere in the world. So, you know, give me a shout out. Who else have we got in the house? Emma Joyce. Hello, darling. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. I'll play this tune and then we'll get started. We'll get started when we play the tune, and then I'll take a few questions. I'll talk a little bit about the tune, and we'll just, we'll just hang out a little bit. I just want to see it get kind of relaxed. And, like a trip down the pub, have a chat with your mates. Any questions on music, drums, drumming, equipment, anything you fancy having a word about, then let me know. So, let's see now. Let's get this tune ready. Right, I've been working on this one this week. I've got the drum chart here. I'll show you that to you shortly. This has taken a bit of work. It's quite a fast tempo, and there's quite a lot going on in it. So, without further ado, make sure everything's set right. What haven't I done there? Wait a minute. Whoa! Wow! Oscar Joyce, Hawaii 5-0. Dead right. Andrew, you were second. Quite a bit of pace on that. 168 BPM. Quite a lot of orchestrated parts, quite a lot of detail on the chart. Just get my breath back. A few mistakes as well. Anyway, I'll do it again and maybe do it a bit better next time. So, anybody got any questions? No. Ciao, Giorgio. Cool t-shirt, I know. Hi, Toby. So, Hawaii 5-0. Me notes. Right. The drummer on this, well, first of all, the theme tune was done by a band called The Ventures. But the original theme tune was recorded by a group of session guys called the Wrecking Crew. And you might not have heard of the Wrecking Crew, but you've definitely heard probably a good few hundred of their records in your lifetime where they're the session musicians on songs. They played, it was kind of a collective in Los Angeles, and they were like in the early 60s up to the late 60s, the hottest thing in town. And they played with everybody from Phil Spector, Sonny and Cher, Frank Sinatra, Nancy Sinatra, the Mamas, the Poppers, the Monkees, the Bee Gees. And they were all top musicians, came generally from a jazz and classical background, and they were called the Wrecking Crew because in the early 60s, when they were kind of emerging on the scene, all the top session guys in Los Angeles would come to a session at these Capitol studios and places like that, dressed in the suits and ties and very formal. And these guys would turn up with jeans, t-shirts, very, a lot more sort of casual than the old guard. And hence the name, the Wrecking Crew, because they were wrecking the reputation of the old guys, and they were starting to get all the work. And at first, the old guys were like, who are this lot? Bunch of scruffy, probably thinking of them as like a hippie type thing almost. But what the old guard didn't realise is that they were really, really excellent musicians. And they would play like, in those days, there was like a recording session was usually for 3 hours. So it'd be like from 9 till 12, 1 till 4, maybe, 6 till 9. And then sometimes, they'd be doing another session from midnight with other people in a studio. So they could be doing 4, 5, 6 sessions a day, these guys. And they were doing it 5 days a week at least. So hence they were good. And they would just get in a studio, and for somebody to go in to a studio and play this in a 3-hour session is some mean feat as far as I'm concerned. It's quite there's a lot of detail, like I said, in the chart, and for them to kind of organise that. I mean, the thing is only 2 minutes long, but it's relentless. There's forever things going on and changing here and there. So, the drummer, I always thought it was a guy called Hal Blaine. Again, he was one of the Wrecking Crew and one of probably the most recorded drummers in the history of drumming and recording. And actually, I've got, where have I put it? I've got a great book, which, I don't know, where is it? Here it is. This, I'll put it on here. So, Hal Blaine and the Wrecking Crew, and it's great. It's a really, really good read, and something every aspiring drummer should have a read of, and any drummers should have a read of it. Ros Duffy, hiya, nice to see you again, in a way. Anyway, I was saying, I thought the drummer was Hal Blaine. It wasn't. It was a guy called Jonh Guerin, who wasn't in the Ventures either. The drummer in the Ventures was a guy called Mel Taylor at that time. Anyway, Jonh Guerin, he was another real amazing player. Played with Sinatra, Zappa, the Beach Boys, George Harrison, the Animals, Ella Fitzgerald, Thelonious Monk, Linda Ronstadt, to name just a few. So, you know, they were all really amazing people. Another one person you might have heard of, or a few people you might have heard of in the Wrecking Crew, one was Glenn Campbell, who went on to become one of the biggest kind of artists in country music. And another one was the famous guitarist Barney Kessel. And one that people might know is a guy called Tommy Tedesco. And there's actually a fantastic documentary called The Wrecking Crew. The documentary, make sure you get the documentary, because there are a couple of other films called The Wrecking Crew. So the documentary, I think you can get it for about 11 quid, and it's worth every penny, and it shows these guys in the studio. And they also, I say guys, they had this incredible woman bass player, a woman called Carol Kay, who played the Wrecking Crew for years and eventually left because they were kind of burnt out from doing so many sessions, and went on to, you know, do her own productions and things like that. So again, I was saying about these guys being great sight readers, great in the studio, do a 3-hour session and really deliver the goods. I'm talking to the bloody, you're not seeing me, sorry about that. Got to get used to switching my cameras. Switch the camera back, Andrew says. I'm here, sorry. I should look at the prompts from people. Yeah, the documentary. Get it. Get that book. Now the book that I've got the drum chart from is this one, and we'll switch the camera back. Wipeout and 7 other fun songs. So it's a 3-page chart. And if you want a bit of a challenge, there's lots of them in this book. I think that's probably almost one of the easier ones. Now, my sight reading has never been absolutely fantastic. I can do it. It's taken me like the past 10 or 12 years to get better at it. Before, when I first started, I was kind of just learning rudiments and things from like snare drum books. So reading drum charts, I'm still working on it. I'm still working on getting jazz charts and trying to keep, you know, because it's that thing of like when you're reading something, what you want is an aid memoir, so you can just look at it and remind yourself, rather and being able to play the part and play it well without it sounding wooden and like you just sat there reading it. So Hawaii 5-0. Right, Hawaii 5-0. Why Hawaii 5-0? Hawaii was the 50th state, so hence 5-0. And then 5-0 became known. It came to refer to the police in the USA, wherever you were. So I've watched 5 series of The Wire recently in lockdown, and every time the police turn up, everybody's on the street shouting 5-0. Any questions? Anybody? Anybody want to ask a question? I'm not talking till you do. Actually, I am. Okay. Because of the tempo of that song, it apparently became popular in Northern Soul clubs in the 70s. Now, I asked a guy I know who's a Northern Soul aficionado called Neil Rushton about that, and he said they only played it in the rubbish clubs. So I've never heard it in any Northern Soul nights that I've been at, but I could believe that some people would be dancing to that, definitely. I used to play with a Northern Soul band 4 4, 5, 6 years ago for a few years called the Soul Train. And we used to play a lot of up-tempo Northern Soul songs at like 140 BPM was probably quite a slow tempo within that band, you know, going up to 180 and things like that with some of them, which is fine if you're like a drum and bass player or, you know, top jazz players and people like that. So, how are we doing here? Let me just check my notes. Oh, yeah. So Jonh Guerin, actually, when I found out the other day that he'd played with Zappa, I realised there was a Zappa album I used to listen to when I was about 17 or 18 called Hot Rats, which is probably still one of my favourite Zappa albums, although I've not listened to it for a while, but I think I'll probably listen to it again in the next few days just to remind myself and see what Jonh Guerin's doing on it. But it's quite a heavy album, but really, really good. So Jonh Guerin, try Hot Rats and see what you think. Right, I think what I'm going to do, I'm not getting any questions. Actually, somebody asked me a question last Thursday that I didn't see, and I finished the show, and it was about playing using cross stick. Let me just change this. So, what I use with cross stick is if you've got the stick in that kind of a position, you know, a couple of inches from the rim there, and put the heel of your hand on the snare drum, and you kind of hold it like you hold a pool cue or something, so your thumb and forefinger there, and you're just resting your hand so you get a nice sound. So if you've got your stick there, it's quite a thin sound, it's not great. If you've got it too, you can get a kind of a bit of a phasey effect. So again, if you're playing reggae, anything like that, so cross stick. Questions aren't flying in tonight. Right, I'm gonna play the tune again, and then give you time to think of anything you want to ask me. I've kind of run out of my material there, like I was saying. If you want any drum lessons. Also, if you enjoy this, then please share it. I'm trying to, you know, get my numbers up, get people to come and attend wherever they are in the world. Right, so I'm going to do the song again. Just give me one moment. Get rid of my notes. Make sure everything's right. Quick sound check. Quick drink of water. I'd like to thank everybody for coming tonight. I'm going to switch the foot cam on this time because I forgot that last time as well. I will get better at this one day. Right. Whoa! That was a bit better. Thank you. If you want to join me on Monday for your first drum lesson ever, part 2, I'll be there on YouTube, Chris Joyce Drums. Check it out, subscribe, ring the bell, as they say. I'll be back here next Thursday. I have no idea what tune I'll be doing, what I'll be talking about, but hopefully see you then. Take care, wear a mask, look after yourself, look after your friends, look after your family, and have a good evening, have a good week. Thanks very much. Bye bye.